Man lives his life divided by two planes, and in accordance with what he is taught, he manages each with isolated thoughts. He understands the limitlessness of his spiritual thoughts, but he places several ceilings on his life when contemplating what could be done in the physical. Until they both agree on one outcome, man will never experience the power that he possesses. You want to know one of the most powerful moments in a man's life, brothers? It's the moment that he realizes that there's only one thing that can stop him from succeeding. You have to understand, man, that being human is one of the most powerful things in existence. You know what I'm saying? Even go back to your Bible, man, when it talks about source energy going through the first, few days and making the sun and the moon and the stars and the waters and all this stuff, right? And then it said that source energy made all the animals on the planet, made all the vegetation on the planet. And then it said it made man in its image and then put man in charge of everything. Think about how powerful the forces on this planet are. Think about how powerful the animals and all things on this planet are. You think an entity would put mankind over all things and not grant man some kind of superpower himself? But you have to understand, man, that being human is a superpower. It's just a matter of a man tapping into it. It's just about a man understanding who he is. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand, man, that when a man, I'm going to say this power that I'm talking about of being human, it's unlocked as soon as a man realizes that he's one. I'm going to say it again, man. A man begins to tap into this power that I'm talking about as soon as he realizes that there is nothing in existence on this world that's different than him. You know what I'm saying? In other words, when we go outside and we see anything that's matter, whether it's building, structure, cars, animal, plant life, when man understands that it's made from the same matter as him. In other words, like when the Kabbalion talks about all things come from the same energy, which is God's source. And things are made up when there is an interruption in that God force. That's how matter is made. Once a man understands that he comes from that same source, but he begins to get his key out, man, and unlock many doors in his minds, bro. He begins to unlock many chambers, brothers. Once a man understands he's no different than any other person on the planet. And this is a challenge. This is a challenge because a lot of people see people that are different sizes than them and they automatically separate. A lot of people see people that are different shades of brown or tan or white and they say, you know what? Oh, that person is different than me. I'm going to tell you this, man, and I stand on this. There is no way in the world you can see another human being, another man, even if his skin is different, even if he's on the other side of the globe and he dresses different, even if he wears certain things on his head or he prays a certain way. If you think that man or woman is different, brother, you can't even come close to the highest levels of consciousness. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are because you're still dividing the one. And I know a lot of y'all are shaking your heads and well, brother so-and-so who has a channel and sister so-and-so, they don't like these people. And you think they're enlightened. You think they're enlightened, but they're dividing the one. They're dividing the one. You know what I'm saying? Once you understand that all is one, man, then you, like I said, you begin to unlock many chambers, brothers. And one of the most hardest things for people to overcome, man, is realizing that there's only one when it comes to self. A lot of people live in this physical world and operate as if it's the end all, like it's the only thing. And then we can go to church on Sundays and feel like, we're somewhat tapping into some spiritual side of ourselves. Like for this hour or two on one day a week, we can somehow plug into this spiritual side and send hopes and wishes to a source energy that's many moons up in the sky. Not understanding, man, that we're still dividing the all. I'm telling you, man, you know, and I say the word hack, man, like, and I don't even say this is a hack. I normally say this is the hack of all hacks, but this is not even a hack. This is simply being made in the image. This is simply being human. The things we're supposed to do, man, when you read your Bible and the messenger said you can do what I do in many things, it wasn't talking about no super. It wasn't talking about being above and beyond everybody else. It was explaining what all of us are capable of, man. And I'm gonna tell you, once a man understands this, brother, he doesn't even see this world the same. His fears fall away, man. The barriers fall away. Like everything changes, man. But you have to understand this. This is where a man really relinquishes or releases his power, bro. When he doesn't understand that the internal world and the external world are one. You know what I'm saying? When he doesn't I'm gonna say it like this. When he doesn't understand that this brain or this, you know, these thoughts that we have in this physical world, he doesn't understand that those same thoughts are interconnected with that world when he closes his eyes and prays to his Father. He sees those as two completely different things, but they're one. And I'm gonna tell you, man, not understanding this, you know, I believe the Bible says it a million different ways, but it talks about a man having a divided mind. And I don't know the particular quote, man, but it talks about whether it's the downfall or the lack of ability of a man with a divided mind. And that's simply what I'm talking about. A man that can look in this physical world and see his challenges and obstacles and opportunities he's scared to think about, but he can close his eyes. He can sip on a little drink. He can smoke a little bud and get his mind elevated and close his mind and go into his imagination and see unlimited possibilities. He can go to church on Fridays, Sundays, and Wednesdays and plug into, this energy, this frequency. And during that course of time, man, feel like he's limitless then. But as soon as he walks out, he feels like, okay, you know what? We prayed to Father. You know what I'm saying? Once a man understands those two worlds are one, man, he understands, man, that's the only thing that can stop him. It's the only thing that can stop him, man. And the only reason people aren't aware of that is simply because they're disconnected. No other reason. The only reason a person looks at two different worlds and see them as two different entities and not one is because they're disconnected. And I personally believe that everybody is connected at birth. I believe that. I believe that if a person is born and they had no communication with no parents, no grandparents, they didn't go to no church, whether it's Mass, Juma, Christian, they didn't entertain none of that. By the time they got, a thinking mind, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years old, they would see the world and connect that former world, connect that spiritual world with what they see. It's conditioning that took that out of us, brothers. But you got to understand this, man. Once you remember this, brother, your world will never be the same. It'll never be the same. And then you can look at your brothers and sisters and see how they navigate through this world. You can see how they view this world from that old mind. In other words, they have the ability to talk that spiritual game, but they find a challenge in walking in it. And I'm not saying it's easy, but it must be done if you want to win, brothers. How does one connect? How does man reconnect to bridge that gap and bring his physical mind and spiritual mind and make it one? How does he become human? First thing you got to do, brothers, is simply remember. Simply remember, man. Think back, man, especially if you're of age and you've had time to go through a few challenges. And then, you know what, to be honest, you don't even have to be of age, because I can think back my whole life when I was in one mind and certain things happened. But all you have to do is remember, man. Brother, yesterday on yesterday's video, man, when I was talking about Brother West, I talked about one of those videos I made within the last 2 or 3 days. The brother said, "Hey, man, I wish you could speak more on when you were at that bottom, man, when you lost your car." He said, "Man, I'm going through that right now. I wish you could speak on that." And to be honest, I've spoken on that so many times, man, that I don't even want to just give that full spiel again. But I will say this, man, and I hope you're watching, brother. When I was at that bottom, I'm talking about no lights, no nothing, no money, no nothing, right? There came a point in time, man, where I had no other option. But so you got to understand, when hard times come, at some point, man, those minds will bridge by themselves. When you have nothing else to stand on, when all your friends are gone, family is gone, money is gone, and there's nothing else, those worlds tend to just come together by themselves because there's nothing else. There's no distractions then, you know. But I can remember, man, when I was down and out, man, and I started when I started one of my first companies. I started a trucking company, Tyler, Texas, straight path trucking, 18-wheelers, flatbed, 48 foots, right? And I remember desiring a certain thing, but then I remember getting to the point, man, where there was no other option. I said either I do this and it wins, or I'm going to my demise. And just by default, those two minds came together. In other words, what I'm saying, brothers, is when I woke up in the morning, even though I'm sitting in an empty house, no lights, my mind was like, you know what? This is what I'm getting ready to do, and there's no other option. See, you can't give yourself any other options if you want to succeed, man. Why do you think the book is called A Singular Truth? It's the opposite of a man being divided. If you want to win in life, brother, you have to have a singular truth. So the first thing is, remember a time, man, when you had to have a singular truth. And it's not even about bad times. Because I was thinking about a second ago, man, when I don't know how old I was, 7, 8, 9. I remember one Christmas, brothers, I wanted a motorcycle. And to be honest, the age I was, the size motorcycle I wanted, all that stuff was really far-fetched. It was like something that even though I was asking parents for it left and right, in my mind, I was like, bro, ain't no way in the world they finna get me this. Ain't no way in the world. Ain't no way in the world. And I remember, brother, just becoming obsessed with it. I remember just, looking at, magazines and looking at dirt bikes to the point, man, where I was like, you know what? There's no other option but for me to get it. It got to the point where I stopped even asking for it. I just had it, man. There was no other. Maybe you'll get it. Maybe you won't. That was gone, bro. Woke up that morning, man, and saw that motorcycle. And even thinking about it now, man, it felt like I was dreaming. And looking back, I understand that the only way that panned out was because there was no other option in my mind. Like it was that or nothing. Like when 50 say I'm going to get rich or die trying. What he's saying is either I'm going to get rich or source energy is going to take my life before it happens. But there is no failing. And I had that same energy, man, back when I started my company, back when I did a number of things. To be honest, man, when I look back at my successes and when I look back at my L's, which are my lessons, the contributing factor, man, was I really walking in that truth fully? Or in the back of my mind, was there a seed planted that said, you know what, soul, what's your plan B if this doesn't work? If that's present, you're still a man of a divided mind. You're still a man of a divided mind if you have a plan B, if you're thinking about what I'm going to do if it fails. And again, I can look back on certain projects I've worked on and that's taking place. And I say, you know what, man, I didn't believe in myself. Like I didn't believe in that. Like I always say, man, your life is a reflection of whatever your truth is. Whatever life you've defined for yourself right now, and you're saying, you know what, I don't care what all happens, this is my bottom. Like this is it. That's where your truth is. Your standard, bro. So the first thing, man, is remember. as far as like ways to get to that singular truth, ways to get to that, that oneness, right? Another thing, man, that took me a long time to learn, man, as far as ways to get back to that oneness is health. And I know that sounds kind of like, oh, we don't talk about, but I'm gonna tell you this, man, I had no idea how much health was tied to my success, or health was tied to my oneness. How much health was tied to my ego mind, my physical mind was tied to my spiritual mind. You got to understand, man, that this body is a receptor, man. And for it to work properly, for us to be human, it has to be in a certain level of harmony. Like I can remember certain times years ago, man, when I was, had a lot more weight on me. I can remember sitting down at home sometimes, just kind of, being in my thoughts and meditating and trying to go to the, have that zen out, and just being so big that I was just uncomfortable sitting there. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I can't even get comfortable. I'm so, you know what I'm saying? And as I began to try to, make better choices in foods and try to do a little exercise, I noticed, man, that harmony began to come, brothers. You know what I'm saying? So health, man, understanding that if you go and put T-bones in your mouth for 7 days a week, your thought process is going to be different than if you go 7 days eating fruits and berries and veggies. And it's going to be different. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. I don't care if you're vegan, planetarian, and all these other words. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about if you put good fuel in your body or bad fuel in your body, you're going to get a different response. Hell, go put 87 in your gas tank and then go put 93 in it. It's a difference. It's a difference, man. So in order to bridge those worlds, man, you have to put this vessel. You have to put this vessel in the best possible shape, man. Put it in the best possible shape, man. Fast every once in a while. I know when I fast, man, come around day 2.5, 3.5, brother, that clarity is on 22. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I'm burning a different kind of fuel, man. So I'll just say this. To get to that oneness, man, to bridge that world, that's physical and spiritual world, brother, health is huge. Try it. Health is huge, man. Try it. And the third one, brothers, as far as getting to that oneness, is seeking the proper guidance. What do you mean, soul? The video I made yesterday, man, I was talking about my brother Wes, or the video day before yesterday. I can't remember. And one thing I noticed about Wes after he passed was Wes had two different groups of brothers he dealt with. Wes had a lot of friends. In other words, let me say it like this. At the funeral, there were two different circles of men, right? One group of men was brothers that Wes used to work with, that Wes might have used to go shoot pool with, maybe go bowling with, maybe used to go club with back in the days or whatever. Just brothers he used to hang out with. And then there was another group, a smaller group of brothers that I end up finding myself in, that Wes saw as mentors. And I'm over there talking to these brothers after talking to the other brothers, and all these brothers' conversation was different. All of us were Wes's mentors. All of us had certain areas of expertise that were used as growth for that brother. You know what I'm saying? Some in what he did, some as far as his spirituality, some as far as his health. It's having that guidance in place, bro. If you want to connect those two worlds, if you want to find that oneness, that, like I said, that's the only thing that can stop you from succeeding. But you have to have the right people in place as far as who are you going to. Like who? In other words, if we go through conditioning our whole lives, and that conditioning is what's stripping us apart, because that's all it's doing. That's the ultimate agenda. If there's anything, and you can see it all around us if you pay attention. Once you understand that this is the truth, then you can begin to see it all around you, brothers. Like why do you think this information on separating man from women is so powerful? Why do you think that's such a movement? It's simply a version of man of this agenda stripping man from himself. That's all it is. And once you understand what truth is, you can see what truth is being stripped all around you, bro. You can see where it's being stripped all around you, man. But what I was saying is, if this world is stripping that, then brother, put yourself in position where you can see people moving in a certain way, in a oneness, or these people have information that can give you that information of oneness. I'm telling you, man, like I was saying, brothers, once you understand, you quickly realize that this is the only thing that can keep you from succeeding. And that's being a man that's being a double-minded man. You know what I'm saying? Look at creation. What's the only thing that can keep a bird from failing? In other words, if you see a bird that's healthy and cannot fly, and he's supposed to be flying, what's the only thing keeping him from flying? Of having any other idea in his mind that he can't fly. In other words, his physical mind is saying, you know what, I'm a bird, but his spiritual mind says, no, I'm a polar bear. That brother's gonna be stuck on the ground his whole life. When really all he has to do is marry his mind. Marry his mind and have one thought, oneness. Oneness is the most powerful things on this planet, brothers. Once a man understands this, there are no barriers. There are no obstacles. He becomes one with source energy, brothers.